Welcome to the Northern Powerhouse interview series, where we're unashamedly spreading good news by interviewing Northern businesses and their successes during the pandemic. Subscribe to be notified of new interviews or click the link in the description to take part if you'd like to be interviewed yourself in a future episode.
Good morning. Welcome to Northern Powerhouses Business Success Stories. So we have Mark Fitzgerald Cooke with us this morning, who is the Managing Director at Intelligent. So good morning. Happy Friday. Thank you ever so much for joining us. How are you doing?
My pleasure. Great. Fantastic. The sun's shining. It's a beautiful day. So what's not to love?
I'm over in York and it's very sunny this morning. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it's not going to be snow in 10 minutes like it has been this last week. Yeah. If you can start off by introducing yourself properly, can you just tell us a little bit about Intelligent and what you guys do?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Mark Fitzgerald Cooke, as you've said. I'm the Managing Director of Intelligent. At Intelligent, we sell businesses. It says it on our website, it says it on our business cards. The reality is we help people buy, sell and grow businesses. And over the last year or so, been a challenging time, but that part of that's been sort of agony uncles and agony aunties as well. But it's been lucky enough to have experienced an incredibly challenging and absolutely inspirational 12 months, as I said on another podcast recently, to see the resolve, the entrepreneurship, the resilience of the SME community has been humbling, heartwarming, inspiring in equal measures. It's been a tough but challenging but very exciting time, and really looking forward to seeing all those phenomenal SMEs that have worked so hard in that period, hoping to help them thrive in the future. So yeah, very excited.
Brilliant. So how has the last year, the dreaded COVID word, how has COVID and of the last year affected you guys and what you do? Yeah,
okay. The initial, you're like everybody, massive roller coaster, so if you go back to sort of back a little bit, but almost this time last year, when the first lockdown's announced and you're thinking, well, you're shutting all these businesses. We sell businesses, we've got nearly 1,000 clients in our books with businesses to sell. Who's going to be doing anything in this market? So like a huge amount of other people, you start looking at what do you have to do with furlough and one thing and another. And then completely counterintuitively, buyer inquiries started going up and up and up. And, I think I said earlier, they were 28% up from pre-COVID. It was phenomenal. So it's like, well, what is this? What's going on? And there was a mixture of, as time went on over the months, there was a mixture naturally of people cashing their pocket, looking for opportunities, vultures, vultures stroke saviors, depending on your point of view as a seller. And we was like, who are these people? And what we found out was that as time went on, and yes, some people have been furloughed, or a lot of people were like, I've got dreams, and I'm not waiting. I want to make those dreams a reality now. I've always wanted a lifestyle business. I've always wanted to go out on my own. Some people being forced into it. They've been made redundant. They've got redundancy, so they've come to market. So we had this swathe of people coming to market, and genuinely interested in buying businesses. So as sellers, a little slower, naturally, if your business is shut, if you don't know what's going on with finance, et cetera, you're not necessarily going to think about selling. A few panic sales, but also people coming to market who thought they had nothing to sell and actually found out, you've been running a good business for X number of years, and we can demonstrate there are still people in the market. So, it's been a roller coaster. It was surprising. It was counterintuitive. We took the decision then to start working on our website because there was a real thirst for knowledge. People wanted to know more about what their options were, how they could, what they need to do to grow their business, what practical steps they could take now. So we relaunched Intelligent, rebranded it. Made sure we had in our knowledge hub, basically just filled it with all the questions we were being asked. So, let's produce the content. So, make it really easy for people to access that information, which has been, hugely successful. I touched on it earlier on. We've traditionally your reviews on Trustpilot would always be thanks for selling my business, or, but now it's just full of people saying, thanks for the advice, thanks for the help, thanks for the support, which is what people need. And we're super proud of that, and that we rated excellent on Trustpilot because we, as I said earlier on, we're super passionate about the space and, really pleased to see that decisions made to help people thrive and survive and grow has been well received by our clients and not our clients, just people just looking for good advice. So excited now about the next 12 months. Learned a lot in the last 12 months. Incredibly proud of the people that work for us, going the extra mile, how they've adapted. And as I said right at the start of it, just so inspired by the people we talk to every day. But at times it's been heartbreaking as well. You talk to people and their businesses have gone on, they've lost somebody, and what happens next. So yeah, it's been an experience. I think we are a much better, smarter, wiser business for the experience.
Amazing. It certainly sounds as though you guys have learned a lot over the last year or so. Tell us about some of the things that you've learned, maybe with the insight, the experience that you have now of this last 12 months. What would you have done differently, or maybe done sooner?
Hindsight's obviously glorious. I think that what would we have done sooner? I think letting people know that more quickly that there was this increase in buyers, for sellers, that there was still a lively market, but it caught us unawares because you don't expect it to happen. And then it's like, well, it's happened. Is it just a flash in the pan? Well, no, it's not. And then by the time you've kind of confirmed it's not a flash in the pan, it's like, well, hold on, it's a bit late now. But then that was then right. Well, let's get the website, let's get the knowledge. So, it is, would we have done it sooner? But then could we have known it? It would be, would be the balance there, because there's also, a degree of, understanding where your audience is, and and if literally everyone you speak to is having a really tough time of it, or trying to tell everyone that it's good and there's opportunity, it's going to fall on deaf ears because it's not their experience. But actually, when you can produce some data and say, look, these types of businesses, if you got to something online, if it's relocatable, if it's, as it turned out, related to sort of staycations or construction or, plumbing, heating, anything like that, inquiry levels for those businesses just went through the roof. Transactions were still completing. So yeah, it would have been if we could have been able to communicate that a little bit more quickly, but there's timing elements of that as well. And the website ultimately delivered all of those good messages. We started the webinars that we do that were very well received. And I think we, like an awful lot of our clients, were able to shift our focus a little bit and deliver what we knew people wanted. So that was, it's kind of hindsight, but I think we did very well under the circumstances, as did virtually everyone we spoke to. It was I keep coming back to it, but it was just brilliant. You're getting inspired every day by the people you speak to.
Amazing. So you've obviously got a fantastic team of people around you to make this happen.
Absolutely.
So tell me a little bit about the team and how those guys have been.
Yeah, they have been, again, like our clients, incredibly resilient. We've had, obviously they've had the change from being in the office with that office environment. Selling the business is an incredibly emotional time for people. It's normally triggered by a major life event. It's often taken a very long time to get to the point of doing that. So, and those life events could be, the loss of a loved one. It could be a retirement. It could be divorce. So you're dealing with people who are, they've got a lot going on in their lives. And, and sometimes, unfortunately, you're the, you can be the punch bag for that. As every SME knows, they get that same experience with their customers, I'm sure. But, and if you're in an office environment, you've got that bit of support. If you do have a tough call, you can come on and support each other. If you're working from home, it's slightly different, and you're away from your colleagues, and, you lose some of the energy that goes, and yet they've adapted really, really well. We had to do it very, very quickly. We found out our suppliers were fantastic. As our staff, were just, the whole team was absolutely awesome. Doing the hours, doing what was required, talking to clients when clients wanted to be spoken to, which is not always the most convenient time. And I think we've always had a good culture. Try and get it right first time. We always talk about every business is sellable if you think like a buyer, and we extend that out to, just think about how your customer's feeling right now. and reach out, and be very open about things like stress, and very mindful of people's own mental health and the challenges they're going through with their families, and being flexible and all of those things. And we've tried to be and have been, I think, a good employer, but the team have made it really easy by all going the extra mile. So been really very, very positive. I mean, I appreciate I sound like I'm in a Disney movie here and it's all sunlight and cartoon rabbits dancing around the place, but it's been tough, but the team have really, really pulled together. And Zoom's obviously been very, very helpful. Lots of weekly meetings, daily updates, and all that, keeping the communication levels flowing. And look forward to getting in the same room as all the guys as soon as we can. But overall, so proud of every single person in the team. They've been fantastic and brilliant. The feedback from our clients has said the same thing. It's easy for me to say, but when your clients are saying it as well, then you've got it right.
Yeah, absolutely. So how's it been for you as a leader of the business, suddenly having this remote working setup, not having the team together, and having that buzz and the culture that you built? How have you had to adapt into your leadership style?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question. So as you know, there's all sorts of different leaders. Some are very prescriptive. Here's a list of things you need to do. Go and do it. I am traditionally, very much, I stand up at the front, try and lead by example. I bring a lot of energy and a lot of passion to what I do. But that doesn't always communicate via Zoom and Teams and everything else. So it's helped immensely that I have absolute faith in my team and trust. They talk about business moves at the speed of trust, and that's entirely true. I've got great managers who I know can do their job. The thing has been to help everyone understand a very, very level playing field. One of my things that I learned years ago was if you ever talk about a company organizational hierarchy, if you put that map up on that hierarchy up on the wall and you're at the top, and then you come down and you're basically telling people they're at the bottom. The way I've always done that is to turn it upside down, and your team are at the top, you as the MD are at the bottom, and it's very much I'm here to hold you up, and problems flow downwards. The management team, the rest of us will solve it, but you guys are at the coalface, you're customer facing, so everything we do is to support you and push you forward. And that philosophy, flowed out of this as well. Make sure people do feel supported, valued, accountable. We're still running the business at the end of the day, that they've got visibility, that we celebrate success together as a team, have good communications, but also understand that there's a degree of flexibility. And you know what, when you're on an important call, Amazon are going to knock on the door and deliver something for you, but it's not the end of the world. It's happening to everybody, so just giving that safety net, that guidance, but also having that degree of trust, and give people responsibility. They know what they've got to do. Don't micromanage. Trust that people aren't out in the back garden topping up their tans, and it's worked for us. So it's been a little bit of an adjustment for me. Mainly it's because I missed the buzz. I love people. I love being around people. I love that enthusiasm. And you miss the little bits of sharing knowledge where you've overheard somebody spoken to somebody and you're able to say, actually, I had an example like that earlier on, and what we did was this. But it has made individuals more resourceful in their own right and more accountable. It's been a journey, but it's been a positive experience, certainly.
Brilliant. What would you say is the biggest challenge that you guys have had to overcome, and what have you learned from overcoming that?
Yeah. Single challenge is communicating to people, business owners, that there is a market for their business. Yeah. Even now, and that is, demonstrating, they come back to the point said earlier, what could we do sooner? Demonstrating there's an audience, demonstrating which businesses are getting an awful lot of interest, in sharing belief. Helping people understand that you've done a great job for X number of years. It hasn't just fallen off a cliff. The value of your business hasn't evaporated because the doors are locked now. If you can show, steady profit growth, etc. in previous years, that is still going to be appealing to people in the new world. Giving examples to people of how businesses have pivoted, what different things people have done. And we've had this, and again, coming back to the webinars and getting people on there talking about that. And really, it's that transference of belief, and evidencing it, and and showing people a path. And, so a lot of the webinars we did were very, look, these are the things, these are the steps you can follow. And we tried to make it so you could take it away and sit down and apply it practically, speaking to, as you're doing, to other, professionals in the space, to communicate a way forward and a path, because for a lot of people, they just didn't know, so that's been the big one is, what to share, sharing it at the right time and transferring the positivity that we saw in the market out there as, what we see, as we said earlier on, what we see from buyers, what they wanted, and showing sellers, look, they're here. These are the people that, and not everybody is going to be coming in trying to turn you over, and as time's gone on and we've been able to demonstrate these are the types of businesses that have been sold, these are the types of inquiries we're getting, this is what demand looks like. People, confidence has started to come back into the market. So it's, that's been the main ones, transferring belief, I guess.
Which it sounds like you've done an amazing job of, and seen some big wins off of the back off. So tell us about some of these wins that you've seen. Yeah,
so there's a number of sort of movements, if you like, that have taken place. Now, typically, if someone comes to us and says, how long does it take to sell a business? It's a little bit like how long's a piece of string, because every business is different. But broadly speaking, you're talking a 6 to 18 month period, depending on the seller's circumstances. So if as for example, you are looking to retire and you don't want to retire for a couple of years, you're quite happy to sit back and you're not in any rush. What we've seen is people that have come in with smaller businesses, some online businesses, things like cafes or businesses in very desirable locations that have just flown out, and we've had, we have one example with a cafe down in Kent on the coast by the sea. We listed it on Wednesday morning. It had 5 viewings booked by Wednesday afternoon. It had a full asking price offer and a cash deposit on Thursday morning, and we had to cancel viewings for people Thursday afternoon, and it was off the market Thursday. It was 24 hours. Doesn't happen all the time, but as an example of that is the perfect business in the right location that someone wanted, and it's flown out. Online businesses, relocatable businesses, those types of things, really turning around quickly because there's less due diligence, there's less involvement, they're cash buyers. So, finance has been an issue. That has been something that you can't get away from. Circa 40% of the businesses, 60% of the businesses we deal with need finance of some sort. So that would slow things down. So if you're under that threshold where people are releasing cash from equity, or they've got it from redundancy, etc., they've moved so quickly because there's been high demand for it. So that's been very, very positive. Bigger businesses that weren't doing any cross-border trade and weren't as much subject to macroeconomics. So if you're servicing the UK, so even if you're getting into the 7-figure businesses, they're still getting a good response, and they're selling, because if it's servicing the UK market, then there's less concerns, there's less confusion. So they've also sold. But we keep coming back to the same thing. If it represents a great growth opportunity, or it's something that had really good fundamentals in place before COVID, then you've still got a good chance of selling it. There has to be some adjustment. It's not a peak market. It just isn't. There is uncertainty out there. And for some people, that did mean, well, it's, I'd rather keep it and try and make a go of it. We understand that as well. But it has, we've seen wins across the board, but we have been able to demonstrate very specifically, if you're in this space, yes, we would say go to market now. If you're in this space, hospitality is probably a good example, then you might want to hold off. But if you're in hospitality, or you're a restaurant that's been able to do home deliveries and those types of things, then that some of those businesses have thrived and had really, really good years. So, it's I said it right at the beginning, it's like a dating service. You've got to take each individual business, and look at how we can best help them. So, that's it's been a lot of great successes, and a lot of it's connected with the resilience and the ingenuity of the SMEs. My personal favorite out there, and it's a business local to me that used to do catering for private jets, and and very much a very, very high end executive bespoke dining experience, which dried up. So they opened a deli in an empty unit. Someone had moved out. They moved into this deli near where I live. Queues out the door. Will never go back to what they did before. It's been an absolutely phenomenal success. Yeah, doing home deliveries and all sorts of things. Complete pivot. They'll never go back to what they did before. But would never have done that either had this not happened, so and we hear that from all over the country, those types of stories. So it's been, it's a lot of good successes. But listen, that's not glossing over the fact for a lot of people it's been a really, really tough time as well. But say that entrepreneurship that got people started initially, and then they come back and say, okay, I've done it before, how do I do it again? And that's why we've tried to share as many examples of that. And it's worked. It has worked, and I'm so excited about what happens next for those businesses in the coming months.
Brilliant. What's coming next for you guys? What exciting things are coming next for you?
An absolute avalanche of people looking to sell their businesses. As I said, I went home last night, and we all dealt with all our inquiries. Came in this morning, and I think 60 odd inquiries from people. About we've got a free valuation tool on intelligent.co.uk. So if somebody's just thinking about it, they can come in and they don't have to talk to anybody. You can get a valuation range, and that's often the start of the journey for people. So we do that free of charge, and then if they then want a bit more help, then they make an inquiry. So that's been a bit lively, but that's a nice problem to have, and it's just helping people as they come out and their doors are open and they've got their business. And we know there's a lot of people, they're just inquiring now, but they've got to get back to some sort of new normal first, and then we're going to see a steady stream, and we're starting to see that increase. So that will be on the sell side. On the buy side, then there'll be a little more competition. Prices will. As people get a little bit more confidence, they start trading again, then there'll be a little bit more confidence in what they want to charge for their businesses. We expect to see a little more competition. And it's just as confidence grows across the board, the jab's always good news. You see, the stories about who's getting it and it's not all doom and gloom in the press. All of that contributes to a more positive environment, the sun's shining, etc. And we start to see those inquiries come through in our business. So that's it, really. Getting back to doing what we do best in a new market that is in a new normal, and helping people with whatever they want, be it by growing and selling. We're here for them.
Brilliant. So of all of the adaptations that you've made, the way that you guys have had to pivot, like many of the clients or the other businesses that you've mentioned, what will you keep? Sort of the things that you've adapted or changed, what will you keep on doing as you emerge into this new normal?
Good question. That is going to be a combination of still maintain some remote working. Because there's, in just real simple terms, if you're commuting for an hour each way each day, I said the team have been great. They might have half an hour extra time in the morning, but they're starting work half an hour earlier. They're finishing a bit later. They're being a bit more flexible. So we'll maintain some of that, but we will get the guys together, so we've still got that team, that shared team experience as well, which is important. So that'll be more of a hybrid. I don't think we're alone there. I think the amount of people that said that the office is dead, the high street is dead, I think there'll be a new normal, but it won't be absolute. It never is. It's whatever that quote from Mark Twain, is things are never as good or as bad as they first seem. And what we are also seeing is, because of Zoom and the use of this, though, the amount of our clients that are much happier to have these types of conversations rather than you have to go around and see everybody straight off the bat. And, so obviously we like to go and see businesses and clients we're working with. We like to make sure that what we've been told is the reality, that, if a seller's telling us something, we like to see it with our own eyes. So we know that when a buyer goes there, they're not going to come back and say that wasn't as advertised. But a lot of the initial stages, people are much happier to do this now. So we will certainly maintain some of that. The providing of information through our website, giving people as much as they want to know in the way they want it. Traditionally in this industry, it has been a little bit of like, well, give us all your details before we'll tell you anything, which is, like a estate agency might have been pre-internet. And that's not how it works. We will give you what you want to know, when you want to know it, in the way you want it. And then when you want to talk to us, in a bit more involved and there's something specific to your business, then here we are, we're available to have those conversations. And I think that type of thing is really important. And we'll continue to learn, to get feedback. We'll keep doing the webinars. We'll keep getting the feedback and act upon the advice and guidance of our clients, both buyers and sellers. So, nothing huge, but just little tweaks around efficiency, effectiveness, and ultimately, are we giving people who want to buy, sell, and grow their business what they want? And if we are, then great. Then we're doing a good job.
Brilliant. My final question for you, Mark. What are you guys at Intelligent looking forward to the most as we come into the new normal?
Definitely getting back together as a team, absolutely, and looking forward to seeing some of the businesses that we've spoken to who have pivoted, who have come to us for advice, who said, you know, they're not necessarily looking to sell now, or even people looking to buy now, but who have told us, you know, the information we've given us, as you've given us, has set us up. It's helped us to do different things. It's, you know, the people we've had in our webinars, all that advice has helped us get our business to a better place. Nothing will make me happier, or does make me happier, when people come back to me in whatever period of time and say, listen, now we're ready to sell. You know, the business has grown. All that stuff you told us was brilliant. We're now in a good place. Happy days. You know, we're going to retire. We're going to go off and do something else and realize other opportunities. Because, you know, whilst we say, you know, we sell businesses, what we actually do is help people move on to the next stage of their lives, you know, and that's the bit that gets excitement. When someone says, this has been my baby for 40 years. I put blood, sweat and tears into this. And when I've sold it, I'm going to do these things. And we just get a note a little while later saying, yep, I've done it. Thanks very much. It's completed. And, you know, that's the thing that really, really excites us. I think we said when we spoke off camera earlier on, we absolutely love what we do. We love businesses. Yeah, Intelligent. We absolutely love it. We're excited about it. And people come to us and they'll say, because, you know, you understood my business more, you were more excited about what I was trying to achieve, or, you know, you gave me the right advice, you cared more, you know, and it's because we're passionate about it. You don't turn that on at 9 o'clock in the morning, turn it off at 6 o'clock in the evening. You've either got it or you haven't. And we have. You know, we're really, really excited to work with people. And that is why, you know, we're happy to take the time to give someone a bit of advice, and hopefully they come back to us later on with saying, you know, we're in a good place now, and you've helped us, you know, buy, grow, sell your business. So that's the bit that keeps us, you know, enthusiastic, motivated, and gets us up in the morning.
Amazing, Mark. It's been brilliant to chat with you. Thank you Likewise. So much for sharing your experience of the last year, the things that you've learned, and some real positive stories as well, which is always fantastic to hear. And that's what we want to share. That's what we want to get out there. So we really, really appreciate it. So thank you ever so much. I'm going to start recording, but stay there.
Okay. No, thanks very much. Cheers, Vicky.
Thanks for watching. What was your takeaway from today's interview? Please post it in the comments below, and subscribe for all our upcoming videos, or click for the next video here.